Hi, Reddit. My name's Ethan. I'm 23, and up until a few weeks ago, I genuinely believed I was simply being the responsible son any family would be proud of. We never had much growing up. No fancy vacations, no extra cash lying around. Bills arrived like clockwork, and we barely stayed ahead. After I finished college, I wasn't exactly swimming in money, but I started contributing whatever I could. What I failed to see for far too long was that I wasn't supporting loved ones. I was funding a lifestyle that depended entirely on me. And this past Christmas, everything finally shattered. To give you the full picture, I need to go back a little. My mom, Claire, raised me and my sister alone after Dad left. She wore exhaustion like a medal, reminding everyone within earshot how much she sacrificed. If she covered the electric bill, we'd hear about it for a month. If she passed on new shoes for herself so we could have school supplies, she'd announce it like a press conference. Neighbors probably knew our budget better than we did. My younger sister Ava grew up believing the world revolved around her wishes. Whatever she pointed at eventually appeared. At age 12, I was informed I was now the man of the house. Ava was informed she was royalty and never forgot it. I accepted the arrangement as a kid. That was just how things worked. I started working weekends at 15, turning over half my earnings for household expenses, and studied hard enough to earn a partial scholarship to a local college. Living on campus wasn't an option. Mom said, "Think about Ava, think about me." So I commuted. 2 years ago, I landed a solid remote tech position, decent pay, flexible schedule, actual disposable income. That's when the shift became obvious. At first, it was light teasing. Mom would laugh about how I was finally the big earner and could give her the comfort she'd earned. Then the teasing turned into invoices. "Rent's due soon, honey." I wasn't on any lease, yet I was covering the full mortgage payment on a house she didn't even own anymore, plus groceries, car insurance, utilities. My rent for a damp basement room with a broken door lock was $1,200 every month. I kept paying. I told myself they were struggling. Ava was still young at 20, working maybe 10 hours a week at a clothing store whenever the mood struck. Both of them treated my contributions like the baseline, not a gift. I didn't have the backbone to push back. I was exhausted, the kind of tired that lives in your bones. I dreamed of an apartment, a passport stamp, a savings account with my name only. Every time I hinted at change, Mom hit me with "after everything I've done," and Ava called me greedy. Then December rolled around. Christmas in our house was always theater. Mom adored the optics, perfect tree, twinkling lights, Instagram-worthy spread. In reality, I purchased, wrapped, and placed 90% of the gifts. She signed the tags in looping calligraphy, "Love, Mom," but the charges hit my credit card. I never complained. Keeping the peace felt easier. This year, though, the bitterness had grown teeth. Christmas Eve, I overheard Mom on the phone with Aunt Linda, giggling about how she'd be lost without her personal walking wallet. I sat in the hallway shadows, stomach twisting, but said nothing. Christmas morning arrived. Family crowded the living room. Mom in her silk robe, Ava in the fluffy slippers I'd ordered, cousins munching brunch. I played Santa as usual. Ava squealed over the designer handbag. Mom gasped at the gold bracelet I'd agonized over for weeks. Everyone beamed. Then Mom raised her mug like she was about to give a speech. "This year has been tough," she began, voice dripping honey, but we pulled through together. Thanks especially to Ava's positive attitude and me keeping everything afloat. She squeezed Ava's shoulder. My name never left her lips. No acknowledgement, no gratitude. I swallowed it, ready to paste on a smile and survive the day. Then she locked eyes with me in front of everyone and added, "And Ethan, well, not everyone pulls their weight, but we still love him." The room froze. "What did you say?" My voice came out steady, almost detached. She offered that syrupy, condescending grin. "You've been more of a strain than a help lately, sweetheart, but blood is blood, we forgive you." 7 words, that was all it took. Years of swallowed frustration exploded quietly inside my chest. I looked around, no one spoke. Ava smirked behind her coffee. Aunt Linda sipped her mimosa like nothing happened. Something in the air shifted, the walls stopped pressing in, and a door I didn't know existed swung open. "Good to know," I said, rising. My tone was eerily calm. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't tear up. I simply walked to my room and began filling a duffel bag. By evening, I was gone. Next morning, every contact blocked. Mom, Ava, even Aunt Linda. No note, no dramatic exit speech. I booked the cheapest Airbnb I could find and started hunting apartments the same day. I had emergency savings. I had a paycheck that suddenly belonged only to me. What they didn't have was next month's mortgage, because I hadn't just been paying my share. I'd been paying everything. 72 hours later, the first email arrived. Subject, mortgage. Body, 5 curt lines. Ethan, your little disappearing act has left us in serious trouble. Payment is overdue. Ava lost hours and I'm behind on everything. Stop acting like a child and send your part immediately. Mom, no, how are you? No, I'm worried. Straight to the demand. I stared at the screen until my vision blurred, then shut the laptop. A new voice in my head whispered, they never listened when you begged for less. Why explain now? Silence tasted like freedom. No one knocked asking for gas money. No one texted about the internet bill. My Airbnb room had peeling wallpaper, a lopsided table and floors that groaned, but every inch belonged to me. Day 5 brought unknown numbers flashing on my screen. I let them ring. Then Facebook messages. Ava led the charge, wow, super mature, just vanish. Mom can't cover the house alone. Guess the selfish crown fits you now. I didn't reply. Instead, I kept moving. Found a modest 1-bedroom across town, signed the lease, paid the deposit with my own card, flipped on utilities in my name only. Stocked the freezer with dinosaur nuggets, oat milk, and enough frozen pizza to survive the apocalypse. Peace felt fragile. Every notification spiked my pulse. Then Grandma called. I picked up expecting warmth. Instead, I got a lecture. Ethan, your mother says you abandoned them and now they're facing foreclosure. Is that true? I exhaled slowly. I didn't abandon anyone, Grandma. I stopped letting them drain me. She hummed, unconvinced. Family helps family, sweetheart. Walking away isn't right. I asked if Mom mentioned I'd paid the full mortgage for 8 months straight. If she mentioned the Christmas gifts I bought that she claimed as her own. If she mentioned calling me a burden in front of the entire family. Long silence. She left those parts out. Of course she did. I ended the call politely and finally listened to the voicemail stacking up. Mom, 3 days post-exit. Ethan, whatever point you're trying to make is cruel. Ava's devastated. I can't sleep. We'll be homeless if you don't come home and fix this. This is on you. Ava, you think you're some saint? Nobody forced you to pay for everything. Stop playing victim. We're the ones suffering now because you can't handle basic responsibility. I actually laughed. Basic responsibility. By then the mortgage was weeks late. I'd rerouted direct deposit, closed shared payment apps, left 0 digital breadcrumbs. They had no address, no leverage. 3 weeks after Christmas, a plain envelope appeared in my mailbox, my name scrawled in Mom's handwriting. Inside, a single printed page. Ethan, congratulations. We received an eviction notice. Pay by the 15th or we're out. I warned you. You were always ungrateful, but I never thought you'd destroy us. You are no longer welcome here. If you don't fix this, everyone will know exactly what kind of son you are. Mom, I read it 4 times. The simmering anger cooled into steel. She still thought shame would drag me back. She'd never understood the shame I already carried was hers, not mine. And I was done carrying it. That night I opened my banking app and started downloading statements. Every mortgage payment, every grocery run, every tank of gas for Ava's car, every vet visit for her dog. I built a spreadsheet that made my eyes water. $20,843 in the last 12 months alone. At 23, I'd handed over nearly a full year's salary to people who labeled me a burden on Christmas morning. If they wanted to paint me as the villain, fine. Villains keep receipts. I wrote one calm, chronological email. Attached the spreadsheet, screenshots, timestamps, plus a photo of Mom's eviction threat letter. Ended with, anyone who still believes I'm the selfish one after seeing this is welcome to join the block list. I'm not mad. I'm just finished. I hit send to every aunt, uncle, cousin, and family friend with an email address. The replies rolled in fast. Uncle Mark, holy hell, kid. You've been bankrolling them this whole time. I had no clue. I'm sorry. Anything you need, I'm here. Cousin Sarah, wait, Claire hasn't worked in years. Suddenly everything clicks. Grandma, Ethan, I was wrong to scold you. Seeing the numbers changes everything. You've carried more than anyone knew. I'm proud of you for choosing yourself. Please stay in touch. Love you. I read her message until my eyes burned. Mom's response arrived 48 hours later, subject line blank, body in screaming caps. How dare you air our dirty laundry? I did not raise you to be this vindictive. You've destroyed. We are done, no remorse. Only fury at losing control. Then Ava called from a random number. Hey, just thought you'd like to know Mom maxed out her last credit card on the mortgage after you bilaid. Can't pay it. Locks change Monday. Happy? I stayed quiet. You happy now? She repeated. Ava, do you remember Mom calling me a burden in front of everyone? Remember you laughing? She was stressed. And when you called me selfish for finally stopping, silence. I'm not debating this, I said. I'm not the emergency fund anymore, she scoffed. If we end up on the street, that blood is on your hands. Click, the guilt never landed. I made chamomile tea, sat on my tiny balcony, watched snow swirl under the streetlight, and felt lighter than I had in a decade. A week later, 3 sharp knocks. I opened the door to Ava standing in the hallway, suitcase beside her, mascara tracks down her cheeks. I stared. She hadn't texted, hadn't called. Classic Ava, show up, cry, expect rescue. What are you doing here? She sniffed. I have nowhere else. Friend's couch fell through, mom's in the hospital, stress-induced panic attacks. Landlord changed the locks this morning. Please, Ethan, just temporary. I'll get a real job, I swear. I studied her. Same pleading eyes that got her everything from age 5 onward. Same eyes that watched mom humiliate me and did nothing. I'm sorry that happened, I said and meant it. But my door isn't the solution. Her jaw dropped. It's just a few weeks. I already gave you years. You watched mom treat me like a resource, not a son. You piled on, never once said thank you, never once paid me back a single dime. But I'm your sister. You stopped acting like one a long time ago. The hallway light flickered. She shivered in the draft. So that's it, she whispered. That's it. I closed the door softly, turned the deadbolt, and leaned against it for a full minute, waiting for the old guilt to rush in. It never came. I brewed another tea, curled up on my couch in my apartment with my name on the lease, and slept 12 hours straight. Word trickled back later. Ava crashed with an old classmate and waitresses downtown. Mom recovered and moved into Grandma's spare room. Messages still ping my phone sometimes. I don't read them. I don't answer. I didn't cut them off because I hate them. I cut them off because I finally love myself more. Sometimes the healthiest response to people who only valued your wallet is silence. Sometimes the only way to rebuild is to leave the wreckage behind and keep walking. I'm not the bad guy. I'm just finally free.